Lizzo's denial, is it for real? That's the question we're going to ask and hopefully find out a little bit more about in this video from Never a Truer Word, where we look at the words that people choose to use and analyse them to try and find out a little bit more about what is going on with them. So what's going down with Lizzo then? Well, she's being sued by her former dancers for sexual harassment and weight shaming, according to the headlines. And if you look into more of the allegations that are made against her, she was calling attention to one dancer's weight gain, berating them. Then that dancer was fired. What else is in there? Sexual harassment, religious and racial harassment. I mean, just not being a very nice person, according to these allegations. Imprisonment, interference with prospective economic advantage, and other allegations, including one about a banana, which, Google it. I'm not going to cover that here in this video. But she has been sued by former employees, and Lizzo has finally spoken on social media about these allegations. And well, it looks like her words have had the desired effect for her, because we can see here that the news story saying Lizzo is calling the allegations false, too unbelievable, too outrageous not to be addressed. And another one there, the allegations are false. But does Lizzo say that? Let's have a look at her statement. And let me say, I don't know if Lizzo's written this herself or if a lawyer or PR person has been involved in writing this statement. But Lizzo has put her name to this, so she has to own these words. So let's look at what she says. She starts off with, "These last few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult and overwhelmingly disappointing." So she's laying it on thick already. She could have just said the last few days have been difficult and disappointing, but no, she has to turn up the emotion with these words that don't add anything to the meaning, but add a lot to the emotion. Gut-wrenchingly difficult, overwhelmingly disappointed. So she's in manipulative mode here. She really wants to paint a picture that makes us feel sorry for her. She goes on to say, "My work ethic, morals and respectfulness have been questioned." So she's now painting herself as a good person. Look, she's got work ethic, morals and respectfulness. Although she doesn't actually say what levels of work ethic, what levels of moral and what levels of respectfulness she feels that she has. She just says that her work ethic, morals and respectfulness have been questioned. That's true. They have been questioned. There's some implication there in her words that she has a great work ethic, great morals and great respectfulness, but she doesn't say that she has them. "My character has been criticised." Again, that is true. Usually, I choose not to respond to false allegations, is what she says. That means that sometimes she does respond to false allegations. Only usually she chooses not to respond to them. "But these are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous not to be addressed." So remember those pictures that said that Lizzo had called them false allegations? Well, she doesn't directly say these are false allegations here. She just says, normal, in general, I don't respond to false allegations. She doesn't say, these are false allegations. Straightforwardly, directly, she doesn't say that. She only tells us what she usually does with false allegations. And then she says, they are unbelievable as they sound. That's not untrue. They are too outrageous. Again, she's not saying they are untrue. She's not saying they are false. She's saying they're unbelievable and they're outrageous. These are not things that mean these allegations are untrue. Again, these sensationalized stories are coming from former employees. So sensationalized stories. Now, sensationalized means there's some nub of truth in them, because sensationalized stories isn't untrue. If a story has been sensationalized, it's a true story. It's just been overblown or exaggerated. So again, she's not saying it's untrue. In fact, there she's saying there's some truth in this matter. And then she goes on to do what can only be described as victim blaming or victim shaming here. They come from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. Note that they were only told their behavior was inappropriate and unprofessional. Again, she's not being direct in her words. She doesn't say that they were. She doesn't directly say these former employees were inappropriate with their behavior, and she doesn't say they were unprofessional. Only that someone told them their behavior was inappropriate and unprofessional. Not very direct, her Lizzo. Let's see what else she's got. As an artist, I have always been very passionate about what I do. So she's only talking about herself as an artist here. She's not talking about herself as a full person. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. What does that mean? Why is that being included? Kind of the hint that she's giving there is that these people didn't live up to her standards. They didn't take the performances as seriously as Lizzo did. But again, this is either kind of victim blaming, or is it the start of an excuse? Yeah, I was really hard on these people, but only because I'm passionate, only because I take my performances seriously. I've just got high standards, and these people didn't. With passion comes hard work and high standards. Again, she's not saying that these people didn't work hard and didn't have high standards. She's just telling us about herself. But she doesn't actually say it's about herself. It's just a bland phrase. It could apply to anyone. With passion comes hard work and high standards. Now she takes some ownership. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions. But it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. Now here she only says what her intention is. She doesn't say what her behaviour was or indeed what happened. She's only telling us things in general. She's not dealing with the specific allegations and the specific people that made the allegations. So again, she's not being direct. She is not addressing these allegations head on. It's just in general. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions, but it's never been my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. Almost embedded in there is that she realizes that she has made people feel uncomfortable and has made people feel not valued. Lizzo continues, I am not here to be looked at as a victim, but I also know I am not the villain that people and the media have portrayed me to be these last few days. Again, she's not direct. She doesn't say, I am not the villain. She just says, I know that I am not the villain. So it's one step removed here. You might think this is nitpicking, but trust me, this is a common pattern in this statement, that everything is generalized and everything is one step removed. Again, she doesn't say why she is not the villain, why she is not the villain that the people and the media have portrayed me to be in these last few days. She just says, I know I am not. And is that a personal definition? You know, does she think her behaviour is excusable because she's an artist who's passionate and works hard and has high standards? Lizzo goes on to say, I am very open with my sexuality and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something I am not. Vague beyond belief. She's addressing, I think, some of the specific allegations around what happened in a sex club there. But again, this is perhaps the beginnings of an excuse. You know, I am very open with my sexuality and expressing myself, and other people aren't. Well, that's not my problem. That's their problem. I'm me. They're not me. So again, I think this is she's laying the foundations here for excuses to behaviour that has happened. Lizzo continues, there is nothing I take more seriously than the respect we deserve as women in the world. Again, this is a bland statement. She doesn't say that she did give that respect to the other women in her tour party or in her entourage or in her dancing people. She doesn't say she gives that respect. She just says there's nothing she takes more seriously than the respect we deserve as women in the world. It's all women in the world. It's not these specific people who have made the allegations. Again, she's just not addressing any of this straight on. She says, I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis. Factual and true. That's very straightforward there. I believe that. And then she says, and would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. Absolutely is a word that appears in Deception so often, as is the word never. Never means not at any time, but is often used kind of in a very qualified way. And we have one here. She doesn't say, I have never criticised or terminated an employee because of their weight. She says, I would never. So that's in the future. She would never criticise or terminate an employee because of their weight. And guess what? I bet as well that weight wasn't the only thing that came into it. I'd bet you there's something along the lines of someone was criticised for putting on weight, and then they were criticised for having a bad attitude, because they were criticised for putting on weight, and they got fired for having bad attitude. I'll bet that is what's happened. She's been very qualified there, but would absolutely never criticise or terminate an employee because of their weight. Doesn't directly say that's not what happened in this case. And Lizzo finishes up with, I'm hurt, but I will not let the good work I've done in the world be overshadowed by this. So she's trying to say, hey, get me. I'm really, really great. I do good work in this world. So therefore, how could anyone think bad of me? And please don't think there's anything in these allegations. Well, I'm going to Lizzo because you haven't directly taken on any one of these allegations. I want to thank everyone who has reached out in support to lift me up during this difficult time. This is a concept, a persuasive concept, or manipulative concept at times known as social proof. Look, everyone has reached out to support and lift me up during this difficult time. If you're not part of that, then you're an outlier. You're not part of the crowd. You're not part of it. You know, that's what she's doing there with that. And there's Lizzo's statement. So what are the conclusions? She hasn't denied anything. She hasn't denied one single allegation. She hasn't directly addressed one single allegation, but she seems to be excusing a lot of things. Now, why has she not said it's untrue? Why has she not directly addressed any single allegation? And why are there lots of points of her trying to gain sympathy, trying to show what a good person she is, and just talking in very general terms rather than talking about what the allegations are? She hasn't dealt with one of them. It's not a denial, and she doesn't say directly that they are false allegations in the lawsuit. If you enjoyed that, check out neveratruerword.com, where you'll find a whole load of posts on how to uncover people's true meanings and thoughts through the words that they decide to use. And you might also be able to find yourself a couple of videos you're interested in on videos.neveratruerword.com.